Welcome back to another episode of Chatting Cinema. Um, this week, we are going to talk a little bit about the upcoming movies in 2022. We all agreed it was way too hard to try and make a list of what we're excited for. So we're just going to kind of blow through a generic list of what's coming out and talk about what we're excited for. Some of these have already come out, like the Harry Potter special, Scream, the 355. But
Yeah,
one that
just
we can
to
start with is the Batman.
yeah, that would be our number one if we were making a list, probably
Yeah.
Yeah,
the three
very,
of
very
us,
easy to say. All three of us, it would be number one.
Yeah.
right? Just to touch on the things that like have come out, because if we were trying to like fight to make a list, Scream probably would have been on there for me. It's out now. Luke and I have both seen it, and I think it's fair to say we both really loved it. So that was cool. Already got like a great contender for one of my favorite movies of the year out of the way in January. So that's neat. And then the Harry Potter special, it feels like it kind of came and went, but that was cool to watch too. I liked seeing everybody back. So
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Scream, Flynn and I were just had like so much fun watching it. And I'm excited for Gianni to check it out once he does his homework and catches up on the many sequels. And Harry
Yeah.
Potter special just felt like a nice warm hug. Like it was nice to have everybody back and just kind of chat and see some of those sets again and see them like interacting as adults in those places. It was pretty cool.
yeah.
But I think a very good way to start off the year because I think we all watched it either like New Year's Day or the day after. And
Yeah,
it
right
was a
around
nice way
there.
to start the year movie watching.
Yeah, for sure.
The Batman, how many times was that delayed? It was supposed to come out in 2021, right?
Oh my goodness. Don't even remind me.
Oh,
Oh,
but
God.
it's
It was
finally we're like 4 weeks away.
yeah, because we had our like question mark 2021 like date written out in the teaser, right?
Yeah.
So supposed to be 2021, much delayed. I think that given like some of the commentary from Warner Brothers executives, it seems like they're really going to have to be forced off of this date if they're going to move it. Like it seems to me that they're sticking with March
Mm.
and that this movie is going to come out when it's supposed to now. Um, it's crazy talking about the Batman because it feels like the hype that's built up means that if this is anything short of a Dark Knight caliber Batman movie, it's going to be looked at as a disappointment. But I have no worries that it's not going to be that. Like everything we've seen to this point, we've gotten a teaser and two full trailers, and they all have stuff that looks like better than the last. Visually, the movie looks absolutely gorgeous. Pattinson looks great. Zoe Kravitz looks great. Um, Paul Dano as the Riddler looks super intimidating, which is awesome and fun and cool to get a Batman villain like that again on the big screen because, like, we haven't really had one in a while. We had Jared Leto's Joker and Suicide Squad and the Snyder Cut and stuff, and mixed feelings on that portrayal from I think the general public. But I think that this is going to be a smash. Like I think everybody's for the most part is going to love it, and I think it's going to make tons of money, and it's going to be everything we think that it's going to be. But you never know until it gets here. But that is the movie I'm dying to see in 2022, the Batman.
I
Same.
think I had pretty similar levels of expectations with Spider-Man as I do the Batman. And when Spider-Man absolutely crushed it, even though we were all like kind of afraid that it couldn't live up to the hype, I'm like, okay, I think we're going to be fine for Batman. I know it's different
Yeah.
studios and stuff, but just the idea that like they're two of the most popular heroes ever and they're at different stages because this is obviously introducing us to the world of Pattinson's Batman. But based off of the pure reaction from the teasers alone and like the trailers we've gotten,
Yeah.
it feels like people are really ready for a new Batman story that is just him. No connections to anything else. We don't need a huge multiverse for Batman. Batman's interesting with his rogue gallery and like his side characters. And this movie's introducing us to a lot of them because, I mean, we're getting Penguin, Catwoman, and Riddler. And then also, like, obviously, we're getting Gordon and Alfred, but like, there's still going to be a lot of little things that is just going to be exciting to look out for. and I'm sure they're already working on the sequel because
Yeah,
there's no way
probably.
they signed on for one movie. So
Mhm.
like the fact that this is the first, I would say probably the first. Scream was probably like big, but horror movies are never like full reach because you can't get kids to go see them without adults. So I feel like the Batman's the first, like the general audiences may be flooding the theaters for this movie this year.
Right.
And the fact that it's happening March 4th, like, oh my God, let's do it. Bring it on. There was like 3 days it was supposed to come out. And I remember all 3 times we texted in our group chat. Today was supposed to be the day the
Yeah.
Batman came out. And it was the most depressing feeling ever. But just the fact that it's 6th on Letterboxd list of coming soon, like it's so close, boys. We
Yeah.
were so close.
I think what's most exciting for me, without making this an episode about the Batman, is Pattinson. I remember when he
Yeah.
was casted, there was like almost an immediate like Robert Pattinson reaction to
Mhm.
this, but I was with the three of us were on board.
Yeah.
And I think it's evident in the trailers without spoiling too much that he's gonna kill it. And this is gonna be, I think, one of the most rageful takes on Batman that we've seen. And I think that's what I'm most excited to see. It's just this guy is just he's here for justice. That's
Yeah.
it. That's his MO. And looks good. I think also what's exciting is that this is going to be a really young Batman, and
Yeah.
he looks like he's gonna mess up, and he's a little unprofessional in his practices.
Yeah, I have a lot of faith in Reeves and company
Yeah.
to make this, especially because, this is my last thing on the Batman, and I'm gonna wrap it up. But I was genuinely really excited to get like a cinematic universe Batman because obviously when you do the Nolan movies and how it looks like the Reeves universe is gonna be, you can't really do the more like supernatural out of this world elements that can be fun with Batman, like characters like, Clayface or Solomon Grundy or what have you, or have him operate on like part of a wider team on like a Justice League type lineup. And, the DCEU has kind of stumbled and Warner Brothers is kind of fumbling around. But for me to like really get hype about another like grounded Batman take because Nolan did so well, it would have to be something like this. And it seems like they're doing everything. Like Gianni said, it feels like a year one story. We have a young Batman. We're really getting into the psychology of the character. It feels like even darker than where the Nolan stuff went. So yeah, I'm excited for this and whatever happens after it. But that's the number one, the Batman. All excited.
The Northman.
Oh, the Northman. I am so excited for the Northman. So in 2019, which was an insane year for movies, my 1A of the year was The Lighthouse. I think Robert Eggers is insanely talented, and everything about this movie is like checking boxes for me. Like, yep, I'm on board. Like a cast that has like Anya Taylor-Joy, Willem Dafoe, and Ethan Hawke. Yep, cool. Like a Norse backdrop. All right, revenge thriller for sure. Directed by Robert Eggers. Like this is a movie that feels like tailor-made to my personal interests. So I could not overstate how excited I am for this. I feel like I'm going to see it like 5 times at least. And yeah, it's just nice to have another Robert Eggers movie coming out. This feels a little bit different than what he did with The Witch or The Lighthouse, but still feels very much in the vein of his style of filmmaking, just like on a bigger scale than we've seen from him yet. So I'm very curious to see how it turns out, but I'm sure it's going to be amazing. So very high on my list as well.
This is definitely going to be Flynn's Green Night of this year.
Yeah,
like
definitely.
I feel like your first viewing, you're going to be there, and there's going to be some old dude who complains about how he didn't get it as the credits are rolling. But I'm excited for this too. I mean, to echo what you said, the cast alone is just such a fun cast of people. And it feels like we're really entering like a renaissance. Like Anya Taylor-Joy, anytime she's in it, she just elevates the thing. So like it's just really exciting to see her kind of getting these more leading roles and like consistently, because sometimes people fall out of that leading role spot quick. But I'd be okay with it if she was just around all the 2020s dominating movies every year.
Yeah,
I think what's also exciting about the Northman and for Robert Eggers and everyone involved is that this looks like a more accessible film for general audiences to want to like buy a ticket and go and see, which is like a shame because I haven't seen The Witch or The Lighthouse yet, but
Same.
I hear from you guys that they're amazing. Or so, this looks like something, at least from the trailers, that a lot of people will want to go out and see. So good for them. I hope they do.
Yeah.
Gianni and I will do our homework beforehand and catch up on
Yes.
Robert Eggers.
Oh man, we're having banger after banger here looking at these
Yo.
posters.
Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness.
Oh man.
The movie that's set up to be apparently the most insane Marvel movie of all time.
Hey, Bruce
Depending
Campbell's
on-
on this cast list. How about that?
Twitter discussion. It feels like a safe bet to just put him in there, right?
Yeah,
With
yeah.
Raimi behind the camera. Like he's got to be something. It would be funny if this was the movie where we got Bruce Campbell's Mysterio
I was just thinking
coming
that.
in. He like walks in. But yeah, lots of rumors and speculations about Multiverse of Madness. I'm kind of at the point where I'm done caring about any of the Twitter discussion because I think that it's gotten to a point where like everybody has been rumored to cameo in this film at this point. So I'm not really paying attention to any of that anymore. I'm just ready to like sit down and watch the movie. Like obviously if it was just a straight up Doctor Strange 2 sequel with like Mordo as the main villain and that was that, I would still be there day one. So that kind of stuff doesn't really matter to me, like getting me in the seat as far as that's concerned. But I'm sure it's going to be great either way. Like I hope that, we talked about this for Spider-Man, but where the hype can build and build and build to the point where fans psych themselves out and they set themselves up for disappointment because they're expecting too much. I hope that that doesn't happen with this movie. And, no matter what, people will be talking about it on like the merits of the film that Sam Raimi puts out there and not depending on like what cameos happen when. But I'm like more curious than ever to see what happens in it. So, but Doctor Strange 2, obviously super excited. Should be another huge MCU hit like usual. So
I think the
I
biggest
don't.
thing about Strange for me is that after 2021, where we had a new MCU thing to watch pretty much every month of the year between the shows and movies, this is the first gap we're getting, and it's December to May. So now we really have time to sit with it, people to catch up, because a lot of people jumped on because of No Way Home and just watched Tom's movies. So like now they have time to watch. They're like, oh, now we know who Doctor Strange is. Let me watch his movie and let me watch WandaVision. And I mean, Disney Plus has the Legacy Marvel movie section. And at this point, it feels like that whole entire array is fair game of like from a minuscule cameo to being a part of the movie somehow. So I think I'm with Flynn I'm kind of over the Twitter discussion, like because John Krasinski was trending yesterday that he's gonna pop up as Mr. Fantastic.
He was trending for like 3 days in a row, I think, for me.
And don't get me wrong, I love John Krasinski, think it's a great casting choice, but it's like source trust me, bro, and I'm kind of sick of that. Like once we get to that source level where there's no merit to these things, like don't get me wrong, discussion is fun, but people are treating it as if it's like written in stone fact. And I'm like, guys, this movie could realistically have no cameos. Like there is a multiverse where no cameos happen, because obviously from the teaser trailer we saw we're getting that kind of like dark Strange that we saw on the What If show. So like, and Wanda's gonna be there. So I mean, like Multiverse of Madness, like it could mean anything, and the discussion's getting so rampant now that I'm just like, all right, I'm cooling off. I'm just gonna sit back because I know it'll be fun, but it's also following up my favorite MCU movie ever, and I don't know if anything will top No Way Home. So I'm trying to cool expectations just to give it a fair chance.
I was gonna say I don't envy any director who takes on a project in the MCU, but I'm super excited that Sam Raimi has done this. I know just from the one teaser trailer that we have that we're at least in for something really good, regardless of whether all of these expectations come to fruition and who's going to be in it, who's not going to be in it. But something that I realized in this next phase of the MCU is that like the universe as a whole has never mattered more, and keeping all of the connections intact and the references here. And it's very easy for that stuff to fall apart, I think. But so far, so good. And can't wait for Doctor Strange.
Yeah. So my wrap up thoughts on it. Number one, if John Krasinski is indeed playing Reed Richards in this movie. No credit to the Illuminati at all. I don't care. Like, that's a shot in the dark. It's a we got this covered level scoop. So no offense if you like Wright for there. Like, I'm not trying to personally like attack you or anything, but like that is not a scoop to me. I don't care no matter what happens in it. And yeah, the other thing is Gianni, like you were saying with Sam Raimi taking this on. There are very few names that could have made me feel okay when Scott Derrickson kind of parted ways with Marvel, because I have a lot of respect for Scott Derrickson as a director and a person. And I'm a fan of his work outside the MCU too. And I thought that if they were going in this more like horror centric direction that seems to be popping up here and there, and what little we've seen from Multiverse of Madness, he was, a great choice to continue that. So I was really bummed when the announcement was made that he wasn't moving forward with Doctor Strange 2. And then they really quickly announced that Sam Raimi was taking over. And I was like, all right, like I feel a little bit better that it's in Sam Raimi's hands. And I hope that split happened amicably. I don't know if Scott Derrickson's next project is one of the posters that we're going to talk about, the Black Phone. So I don't want to say too much about that, but respect to both filmmakers. And yeah, I'm excited to see what Raimi does with this character.
X. I just saw the trailer for this.
Did you?
Same.
Looks good.
Yeah.
Good.
This looks nuts. I watched the trailer when it dropped online, and when we went to see Scream, it played in front of Scream, and I think this looks so cool. It looks so fun. It's very throwback. Parts feel a little Texas Chainsaw, house in the woods. But man, this looks like a really good time. Like it says right there. Like, and Ty West, it's an A24 backed horror picture, so that's cool too. The cast looks sweet. Jenna Ortega is setting up to be a new Scream queen. I mean, having Scream and this in the same year is pretty sick. So good for her. Shout out to her. And yeah, I didn't really have this on my radar too much before the trailer dropped, but now that the trailer is out and I've seen it, I cannot wait for this one. I'm super excited.
I think Flynn, being our resident horror expert, covered that one pretty good. All I'll add is that I'm a sim for Brittany Snow, so I'm in.
Here's one that we all can't wait for.
Oh,
Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
If you
We've been
watch
talking
this
a lot of Spidey
podcast
lately.
and don't know
Yeah.
how much we love this movie, like this universe, this directing and producing multiverse combo, like, oh my God, this movie looks ridiculous. I finally watched the trailer too the other day.
Did you? Yeah.
Yeah, because I was showing some friends Into the Spider-Verse, and they're like, can we watch the trailer for the next one now? And I was like, yeah, because they were so excited. And like, I was trying to avoid it, but like after seeing the post-credit scene with Miguel, I'm like, I need to watch the trailer. I need to watch the trailer. So this movie looks insane. I mean, at this point, the world is craving anything Spider-Man they can get. Like, there was droves of people who had never seen a Spider-Man movie coming to see No Way Home. And I feel like this movie is going to do really well because of that. Because in October, we have enough time removed where like, it's not like back-to-back Spider-Man movies. It's almost a year later. But now people are like really interested in the character and like the concept of the multiverse. So it's like, if they're interested enough, a lot of people have been going back and seeing Into the Spider-Verse that didn't previously. So it's like, all right, this movie, like it might bang at the theaters, honestly, like in an October release date too. Like, I feel like it's kind of set up for success right now. And the new additions and all the rumors we're getting, I mean, like Spider-Man from the 70s Toei show, bring it on. I'm ready for him.
Yeah, I'm hoping that it does really well box office wise, because the first one was for sure a hit, but like obviously not on the level of like live action MCU stuff. And it's still, with all the, like nonstop praise for that movie and the quality of Into the Spider-Verse, I still think it gets discounted by a lot of people for being animated. And I still think it kind of gets looked at as like a separate category. Because I mean, it's a straight up masterpiece. Like, it is a perfect film, Into the Spider-Verse. So that's hard to deal with, making not one but two sequels to that film. Um, but you know, any concerns I had about that kind of melted away after they released that teaser. Um, it looks awesome. I'm sure the art is going to be insane. Like watching this one, and it kind of feels like we're getting a like a traveling through different universes movie versus Into the Spider-Verse, which is other universes traveling to one universe. So that's going to be cool to see and to watch how they execute that. So
Yeah,
there's not enough words to say about this one. Super stoked.
I agree with both of you. I won't say too much more other than the fact that I can't believe this is a part one. Like
Yeah.
bold, and I'm here for it.
Yeah.
They pulled a Dune, and I love it.
Thor, Love and Thunder.
Taika
Man.
Waititi, man.
Oh
Like,
boy.
talk about a director who, before his Thor movie came out, you had people who knew What We Do in the Shadows, and like some people knew who he was, but like now you can't go on the internet without seeing an image of him lounging in a Hawaiian shirt somewhere with like multiple women. Like, Taika is all over the internet, and I feel like Thor Love and Thunder, because like Ragnarok was a really good retcon for the Thor series in a sense of like tone and like comedic timing, character usage. Like, it felt like very different from the first two Thor movies. And Thor Ragnarok is still one of my favorite MCU movies. We obviously gotten a lot of great ones since then, so it's fallen down the ranks. But just like Taika, I have so much confidence in him because I think he has a really good understanding of the character Thor and like Thor's universe. And I mean, Christian Bale is Gore the God Butcher. Like, there's just so much to look forward to with this, because now that like the whole Infinity Saga is done, it almost felt like Thor's movies were really just jumping places to move the Infinity Saga forward. So I feel like Love and Thunder is really just going to be about Thor, and you're not worried about some other overarching universe bending like event that's going to happen. And I'm just excited for Natalie Portman to be back, and like Tessa Thompson too, because she's amazing. So
Yeah.
I'm just excited for this.
Yeah, I will say the one thing about Thor Love and Thunder that I keep coming back to, and if there's any like there's reasons to be nervous about certain MCU projects, and then they just come out and blow everybody out of the water, and it's like, okay, cool, like all of those were unfounded. My one thing about Thor is, as much as I love Taika, I'm a bit nervous about the tone. Just because I really like Gore the God Butcher as a villain, and it's insane to me that they got Christian Bale to play this character. Like that is ridiculous. When they made that announcement, I lost it. But Gore is very Shakespearean and tragic and all of that, and I just I think a lot of people talk about the MCU playing things for laughs, and it's way overblown. Like, people just talk about it to have something to hate on the MCU for. Like, most of it, I feel, ends up not being super valid. But this is one I have concerns with, that I just want Gore to be kind of taken seriously and not like played for laughs, because I know how funny Taika is. And I'm sure it will be funny like in the moment, but I am super curious to see how Taika's tone and how the Ragnarok tone in general kind of handles Gore. But I will say, on the flip side, I had those same concerns going into Jojo Rabbit, with dealing with such serious subject matter, and like way more serious subject matter, because it's real life versus a comic book villain. And I thought Taika Waititi did a beautiful job there. So super excited to see Gore, and especially to see Natalie Portman do the Mighty Thor storyline. That's awesome. I can't believe they're doing that. So yeah, I'm sure it'll be fantastic. And any concerns I have are just going to be like, it was dumb to worry about that to begin with.
Melissa McCarthy and her husband Ben Falcone. Who are
Ah.
they playing in this movie?
I can't remember if they announced them,
Yeah,
like
I don't know.
what they were playing or not, because I know a lot of people say like we could see another like play recreation of events that have happened already, since we got it in Ragnarok, and it's so funny. So I can't remember if somebody said something, because like Matt Damon is right there on the cast list, so you think like he's coming back to reprise his Ragnarok role.
Yeah.
And Luke Hemsworth as well, and Sam Neill. So we should be getting another scene like that. Maybe seeing like Thanos
I feel like
do
that's a
stuff.
good
Oh, shit.
opening scene to the movie where you just
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
like a
get off
cold
with,
open
like,
for that.
this is what happened last time in the MCU.
Yeah.
Oh,
Olivia Wilde's next movie. Don't worry, darling.
Flow.
Thriller, right?
That yeah, that's my discussion about this. Flow. Florence Pugh. Like
Mm.
I'm in. But no, for real. Like Olivia Wilde, I thought Booksmart was one of the funniest movies I've ever seen. It was for sure one of the funniest movies I'd seen in years and years. So I'm stoked to see what she does with something a little bit different. Um, Harry Styles branching out into acting more is awesome. Like he's got such a presence about him. And the rest of that cast is insane too. I mean, Chris Pine and Gemma Chan seeing her again will be cool. So I'm sure it'll be great. I don't have too many like detailed things to say about it other than the cast and Olivia Wilde is enough for me to be really excited about this movie.
This poster's trippy.
Yeah.
yeah.
I've never seen this poster.
I think just the fact that Booksmart, between the three of us, is definitely one of our favorite, like, more recent movies. But
Big time, yeah.
it's always exciting when somebody who just started directing is like getting their feet wet, and like those first couple movies, how we'll talk about Ryan Johnson's early movies with Brick, or like Edgar Wright with the Cornetto trilogy. Like we're in that phase for Olivia Wilde, and I like recognizing that and just relishing in the fact that like she's gonna be doing this for a while. This is like Booksmart, Don't Worry, Darling. We're just getting started.
Yeah.
And the fact that Florence Pugh and Harry Styles are the two leads, like this, it is. TikTok is gonna have a field day with him. And
Yeah.
I'm so excited for them because I'm gonna watch them and appreciate their beautiful editing skills. But this movie just, it feels like it's gonna hit a lot of notes where like the fact that it's a thriller is a really good jumping place for Olivia, going from a comedy and like a coming of age story. Because if she just did another similar one, someone would, like, trolls like the quarter would be like, she's a one-trick pony, she can't do anything else. So it's like, all right, well, instead of doing another comedy or coming of age that she's already nailed, let's jump to thriller and have this kind of a cast. And I'm just really excited for it, especially with like a nice September release date, because I feel like it's a really good time for movies, especially like this, leading up to Halloween. Something a little scary could be good. So
Yeah.
I'm excited, and I think it'll do really well just because of the name power. Speaking of which,
Yeah.
There
Oh,
no synopsis or anything, because we know
Nothing.
literally nothing about this movie except for the cast, and we have a teaser poster.
I'm really excited to see Keke Palmer in something again.
Yeah.
This cast is nuts too. I
Yeah.
mean, Stephen Yeun, like, please give him all the parts.
Yeah.
I love him
it.
so much.
And
So
and
excited.
Kaluuya as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's not a lot to talk about like plot wise, because we still don't know like anything about this movie. But Jordan Peele is enough to get people to see it, right? Like Get Out and Us are both held up among like horror classics already. Like they're two giant modern horror releases. So people are going to see stuff directed by Jordan Peele. And that's really exciting to me, that like he's aware of the fact that he can keep as much as possible away and let people just experience it on opening night and go out to see the movie and be surprised by it, and not have to like tell more and more to get audiences in there, because Get Out and Us are both movies where, feeling like experiencing the twists and turns are a crucial part of the experience of first watching them. And then every time you watch them after, you're trying to like notice different things now that you know what the trick is of the movie. So the fact that he can just sit back and be like, nope, here you go. Like this is the movie. We have one poster with a cloud. You're gonna go see it, and all of us can be like, yep, he's right. I'm gonna go see it. So
Let's see. Ooh, let's touch on Babylon for a second, because I was blown away to find out that Tobey Maguire has top billing in this film, and he hasn't really done much.
Yeah. Is he actually gonna have to do interviews? Like it feels like he got off so scot-free when Andrew Garfield was in the trenches every day in the lead up to No Way Home, and Toby just got to chill at his house. But yeah, we're all like huge Giselle fans here, so I'm excited to to see a new Damien Chazelle movie. And it's the same kind of thing with like the Jordan Peele or the Olivia Wilde, like filmmaker focused movies where I'm seeing this because of who's making it, and I don't really need to be told anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that's great about this is the last time Damien Chazelle dropped a movie on Christmas Day, it was La La Land. So like, and it also takes place in Hollywood. And looking at that cast, I'm not going to watch a trailer. I don't want to know anything. That little blurb of the plot synopsis, I'm good. This cast looks insane. I'm ready. Is it Christmas yet? Like, are we fast forward to the end of the year? Because I'm ready for this. It looks great. I don't need a trailer.
Good stuff.
You did skip Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Ah.
Crazy cast. Very excited
Oh
for this.
wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually don't know too much about this one.
This is another A24 movie that I think is going to sneak up and like just surprise a lot of people. Surprisingly, our theater has a poster up for it right now. I'm like, but you're not going to get it. I know
Yeah,
you.
I was super surprised to see that.
I mean, half the posters up, I don't think they're getting right now, but this movie looks really fun. And I mean, I just think the cast alone is just like some of the best like actors in like the Asian community, and they're coming together for this movie. So it's pretty exciting. And A24, they usually don't miss. So
Yeah, rarely.
Yeah. Wakanda
Exciting.
forever.
Another MCU, John.
Yeah, what is the sequel to Black Panther? Cool. Yeah, what
Well,
is there to say
we did
about
get news
this?
about it the other day because Winston Duke apparently readjusted his contract for a much bigger role in the movie. So
we got that news, and we also got the news back that Latisha Wright is back on set because she was dealing with an injury, and I think there was a lot of talk and speculation from a lot of secondhand sources. So it's hard to know what's going on with the situation. All I'll say is I love M'Baku as a character and Winston Duke as an actor. It makes no sense to make him Black Panther. Okay, like I'm just putting that out there because I know a lot of people like say stuff like that on Twitter. He worships a different god. He doesn't worship the Panther god Bast. He worships Hanuman. Okay, so like he says it in the movie. So please, like I get it. I get that people just like watch these movies and like, you know, don't really like think about stuff like that, and that's completely cool. But like, please stop asking to make Winston Duke Black Panther because he can't be the Black Panther. Like, okay.
Yeah. I think a lot of people are jumping to that conclusion, but what I think, because Ryan Coogler and the people like Kevin Feige at the MCU, they know what they're doing. They wouldn't make a rash decision like that. I think maybe what they're doing is giving Winston Duke's character more of a role in this movie to act as a bridge to figure out the solution, where like they don't know what they want to do next, whether it's make Shuri the next Black Panther, because I'm sure with all the like drama of Offset stuff, because obviously like there's been the anti-vax views and stuff, and it was kind of holding up the set. Now we don't know how true all of that is, because like Flynn said, it was an injury, but who knows what's happening with that. I think that they've just been kind of scrambling, not knowing what to do. So with him renegotiating his contract, I'm hoping it's more just like M'Baku is protecting Wakanda in this movie more. And it's not like you're the next Black Panther because you're just a cool guy that's also here. It's more like, okay, we don't know what we're doing next, but people like your character. And obviously where their relationship was last left off at, like they would be on good terms and he would obviously protect Wakanda. So I'm hoping it's more like he steps up for this movie to be like holding down the fort, but I'm not Black Panther, and like make it very explicitly clear that there's no room or window for that, because like you said, Flynn, their backstories literally contradict that very thing. So
yeah, you know, I like what the MCU did with M'Baku. It's very different from how M'Baku is usually presented, but I think it's cool, and I think Winston Duke is great. I hope that whatever is going on with Latisha Wright, like, you know, usually where there's smoke, there's fire, but like I said, there's not a lot of firsthand accounts of anything that's going on with that, and it's made extra hard by the fact that MCU productions are already so guarded and so like secretive. But whatever's going on, I hope it gets figured out, because to me, like, the only option is to move forward with Shuri as the Black Panther. Like, that is, I'll be on board for pretty much anything they want to do. I think that this is a really important franchise for a whole lot of reasons. But that to me, like, I can't get down with recasting the MCU main universe version of T'Challa. Like, if they brought in a variant and recast and had him kind of like operate in the MCU main universe, that's like the only way I could get around with recasting that role personally. So to me, the option I see moving forward is like, hopefully Latisha Wright is like good and cool and like figures out whatever is going on and can be the Shuri version of Black Panther. So this one is like, I wouldn't be surprised if this gets moved, like, at all, if they delayed this.
Yeah, I agree. I also would say that what I'm most excited for and looking forward to is just the original tidbit of the plot that we got for this film, which is that it's going to be a celebration and an expansion of Wakanda.
Yeah.
So that's what I want to see. And obviously, Miss Chadwick Boseman.
Yeah.
So it's going to be very
That's
interesting to see what happens with this film here. So
in Coogler, I trust. Like,
yes.
I think that, and I think that him and Feige have already probably had a lot of conversations about what's going on with this and the MCU moving forward, as far as Wakanda and the character of T'Challa moving forward are. So I'm hoping everything turns out great. But yeah, like I said, like, I would not be surprised at all if this movie doesn't come out in 2022. So we'll see. I'm excited either way to see how it turns out.
Let's see. You guys know anything about Brazen?
No, we can go to Uncharted.
Right.
I think that's that poster, right?
Yeah.
I think a pretty good summary of how all three of us feel about Uncharted is we're hopeful because we enjoy the games quite a bit.
Wait, the tagline is "Fortune favors the bold." Is this a crypto?
Yeah, it's
like
David.
a pseudo crypto commercial.
Oh God! But
I think he says fortune favors the brave. So
that's right. Nah.
I think I'm excited for everything about this movie except for Mark Wahlberg's Sully. I hope I'm wrong.
That sucks.
But he feels out of place. I think Tom's gonna kill it, even though he's already doubting himself to the press. Like, Tom is a very good, like, from how we've gotten Peter. I think Peter and Nathan Drake aren't too far off. It's just Nathan Drake's a little more suave when he needs to be, but they're both kind of bumbling idiots, even though they're smart. So, like, I'm not worried about that, even though he's literally said I'm worried about it. I just think, like, video game movies, it's really just a flip of the coin, and it's like, it could be a Sonic or a Detective Pikachu, and you have a lot of fun, or it could be a Mortal Kombat, and you're like, "Ooh, tried that again."
I don't have any problem with Tom in the role of Nate, especially if they're going for a younger thing, which makes complete sense from a movie making standpoint. Because you're hopeful as Sony, as the studio, that this turns into a franchise and you can keep making these. I love the adventure film genre. I think that, like, I wasn't blown away by Jungle Cruise, but I had fun with it, and realized watching it how much I miss movies like that, movies like The Mummy and stuff. But I don't have any faith in Ruben Fleischer either. Like, I looked up this movie the other day and I saw that Ruben Fleischer was the director, and I was like, oh, suddenly everything makes more sense. So hopeful, fingers crossed, cautiously optimistic. But the only outcome that I would be surprised by is if it's like amazing. Like, if it's just fine, I will be like, yeah, that was completely within the realm of outcomes to me. And if it's bad, I'll be like, yeah, I can see how that turned out. I think it's going to end up being fine, and hopefully fun, and hopefully people don't like attack like Tom for it too much, because I think that he was doing his best with what he was given, based on everything we see. Attack Mark Wahlberg instead. He
I was gonna say that's the only thing really putting me in the seat is to see Tom Holland in this role. And after hearing in the GQ interview he did for No Way Home that he really pours himself into his stunts in a way that we already had an idea of in the MCU, but in films like this, I mean, I think he broke a few bones.
Yeah.
And for movies and sets nowadays where you can just put an actor on a blue screen, like a lot of this in particular was practical and he
Yeah.
did it himself. And so, whenever I hear that an actor does that, I always try to like be as forgiving as I can to the film. And I will just right off the bat, I'll probably say, yeah, I agree with you. This is going to be fine. I think this
Yeah.
will be like a 55% Rotten Tomatoes score.
Yeah.
And I also don't trust Ruben Fleischer at all. But I think Tom Holland is going to do a good job as Nathan Drake.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm here to see. I just want to see
Yeah.
that. So, all right.
Get that Mark Wahlberg out of there.
Let's see some other ones. I
Buzz
mean,
Lightyear.
yeah, Lightyear
I'm
looks
excited.
cool.
I'm excited.
In
Lightyear-
Pixar, we trust, man.
Yeah.
At this point, I don't care if they announce Cars 4. I'll believe in them. I will. It's gonna be okay. Or if they
That-
announce another prequel, like I don't care.
That
They
being
always-
said, don't announce Cars 4, please.
Yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
but there's part of me would still trust them because they really got it back on track with Cars 3. Anyways, I think Lightyear is just a fun one because like I'll never get tired of the Toy Story universe, no matter
Yeah.
how we're
Mhm.
exploring it. And like I really enjoyed the Toy Story tales, like the Toy Story of Terror and
Mhm. Yeah, they're
the
fun.
Toy Story That Time Forgot. Thought both of those were really good. Like nice, longer than a normal Pixar short film, but like not a movie. Like I just love that universe, those characters. And I mean, this just looks fun. Who doesn't love Buzz Lightyear? I can't
Yeah.
wait.
I'm excited. I'm excited to see Chris Evans,
Yeah.
as not C, but here, I guess,
Yeah.
as Buzz.
I think we can skip the next 4.
I'm going to gloss over a lot of
Yeah.
these. Yeah.
Morbius, Avatar 2. Again, Avatar 2, I won't believe Avatar 2 is real until credits roll. I'm curious. I'm more curious about Morbius post No Way Home. But it's still like I don't think it's going to be very good. It's just curiosity of like what comes next. It was the same thing with Venom too, where I was like, all right, everybody's talking about this post-credit scene. Like
Yeah.
I'm watching the movie to get there, right, and see what Sony does next. And I'm curious to see how that like why Michael Keaton's in it. So that's my take on Morbius. Death on the Nile. Like I actually said the other day, I would really love like a live action Poirot cinematic universe with like filled with whodunits. But Rian Johnson is kind of just doing it with Knives Out and Benoit Blanc. I didn't see Murder on the Orient Express, so I can't like comment on it, but they're gonna leave this for dead because Army Hammer's in it.
Yeah.
So they're just gonna bury it. Nobody's gonna see it, and that's gonna be that. I mean, visually it looks pretty neat. From the trailer that we got where we see Army Hammer in shadows a bunch.
I was gonna say in the trailers we have for Death on the Nile for a cast of this caliber,
Yeah.
a lot of them don't seem to be doing a great job.
They all like don't seem like they want to be there. And it's not their
Yeah.
characters not wanting to be there on the boat, right? Like it's
Right.
the actors like shining through.
Yeah.
And I think that they did the same thing where they kind of buried Murder on the Orient Express because like I think that Johnny Depp's in that movie, right?
Yeah, he is.
So it was like right around like peak controversy that movie was getting released, and so nobody saw that. So like I don't know if that affected any performances for the sequel. Like if it was
feel
already
bad for
midway through
Kenneth Branagh
filming.
as a director when this
Yeah.
happens. Now it's on 2 films and it's like, oh come on.
Yeah,
Now we have to be worried for the third one's cast listing.
I
Which
know.
one's going to be the controversy?
yeah. They need to bury this and cast a new Poirot. But and then Secrets of Dumbledore, man, no.
Nah.
Bad. Crimes of Grindelwald is garbage. J.K. Rowling has her own controversies and digs herself deeper every day.
Every day.
Every time she speaks.
And it really pisses me off because I love Harry Potter and I hate that she's turning that into like some sort of. It feels like some people are trying to turn her personal views into a symbol because she tries to invalidate specifically trans women's existence, and that's bullshit. The movie looks bad. She's not a screenwriter. Writing a book and writing a screenplay are 2 completely different things. Crimes of Grindelwald is no good. Mads Mikkelsen is just going through the motions there as Grindelwald in this new one based on the trailer.
He's not acting.
So, and I won't spoil the twist of Crimes of Grindelwald, but I can assure you it's stupid as hell. And that seems like a central part of Secrets of Dumbledore. So I am anti-excited about this. And I wish that somebody could take the Harry Potter franchise away from J.K. Rowling so it could be the celebration of inclusion that it used to be rather than what it's kind of grown to now. So that's my rant on Secrets of Dumbledore. Turning Red looks good.
Yeah,
You know,
really good.
Turning Red, we have a bone to pick with Disney about this, because the last time you were able to see a Pixar movie in theaters, it was Onward for like 1 week.
Yeah, it was like part of Onward.
Like literally
good.
like a week, and then the world shut down.
More people should see Onward. It cut like I feel like that, like exactly like you're saying, Luke, with the theatrical release that was stunted and then put to Disney Plus. Like a lot of people haven't seen it, but it's really good. I really like it. So
yeah, and I think Turning Red is turning out to be another Pixar original banger.
Yeah,
like, the trailer looks great, and I wish I didn't sound angry talking about it, but we don't get to see it in theaters.
Yeah,
it's like, dude, what does Disney have against Pixar animation? Because Pixar has been churning out classic after classic for a better part of 25 years.
Yeah.
And let's be real, Disney animation has not. They've had some really great movies, but they've had some duds in between. So like, why Turning Red gets sent there? Meanwhile, every Disney animation movie is still going to theaters. I don't know. I'm just pissed. I love Pixar, and I want to see a Pixar movie in theaters again.
Yeah. Don't be surprised if we talk about this a little bit more, because we have talked about this whole like Pixar thing, like it feels like a conspiracy, but I think Disney, for as good as marketing has been for the MCU and for most of Star Wars, at least through the sequel trilogy, I think the marketing was sensational. They really don't know how to market their animated movies anymore, I would say, because just using the most recent Disney animated movie as an example, Encanto, I mean, it had a real quiet theatrical release, and then it got on Disney Plus, and now all of a sudden the soundtrack is #1. You can't go 5 feet without hearing "We Don't Talk About Bruno." Like, I don't know what's going on where they can't like take advantage of that, but like with all the outpouring of love I've seen for Encanto since it hit Disney Plus, which is cool, I just feel like why wasn't this movie like more hyped when it was coming out and when it was going to hit theaters? Because it was kind of one of those things where they just kind of made the decision to put it on Disney Plus. Like we knew it came on Disney Plus like the day it came on there, pretty much.
Right.
So it was like a New Year's surprise thing. So I don't know. The marketing's got to work on the animation, I guess, because now the Encanto soundtrack's a big hit. Flash.
The Flash.
I think we're done talking about the Flash. What are we gonna say about it? I mean, like,
I am super curious.
I hope it's good.
Look at Michael Shannon on the cast list. Why is Zod back? Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, I mean, listen, Flash is one of my favorite comic book characters, and controversies. Ezra Miller, like, I really liked you in Perks of Being a Wallflower, and now I'm conflicted about you. You know, here we are, and now we're getting a movie.
Yeah. I really, I don't know what to say about Flash. I mean, I'm morbidly curious because the rumors are like to the point of insanity at this point.
I want it to be good.
It's crazy to me that we're doing Flashpoint as our first solo Flash movie, and like Flashpoint in name only, but that always happens with comic book movies, so that's not really a big deal to me. But yeah, multiverse stuff now, it just feels like a way to kind of reset the Snyderverse stuff, and I don't think anybody's gonna win from it. Like, I think the DC is going to continue the trend of like some movies will come out that people like and some movies will come out that people don't, and they're going to struggle to keep this cohesive still until they can just really reset the whole thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, Flash.
Flash.
I'm gonna skip over Jurassic World because I'm excited for it.
Yeah, neither am I.
The only thing I'll say about Jurassic World was there was a really funny tweet where I forget who's in it with Chris Pratt, but it's like an African American actress. And someone goes, Jurassic Park going woke.
Yeah,
and the tweet goes,
yeah.
What? Just because there's another non-white male character next to Chris Pratt, it's a woke movie? Good to know. Anyways, that's all we need to say about Jurassic World Dominion.
The Velocicoaster in Universal is fun.
Good to know. I want to go there.
Not movies. I don't know.
Here it
yes.
Yeah, now we're on to something where all three of us are ridiculously excited for
Yeah.
again.
Cruise.
And Christopher McQuarrie, we trust, baby.
I
He's
think
made three
McQuarrie-
bangers.
I think he's the best thing that happened to this franchise. Christopher
Oh yeah, big
McQuarrie.
time.
Without his writing, I mean, he even like kind of ghost wrote Ghost Protocol. So like he's been around. He's been in this franchise since the fourth film, and I think he's going to give us two more really excellent ones, and hopefully, because I think it is time, but a really good send off for Ethan Hunt.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm pumped. I can't wait for this movie. We already
Yeah.
have seen a few behind the scenes of Tom Cruise doing stunts, both for
Halo
this
jump.
one and Mission Impossible 8. I just think they're gonna knock it out of the park again.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, there's like it's just pure adoration and excitement
Yeah.
for these because the team has been here before and they've done the thing, and it just feels like it's gotten better and better. So McQuarrie and co I think is going to do a great job. And Gianni, like you said, like I am super curious to see, especially because I think that No Time to Die with James Bond kind of being like Ethan Hunt's cinematic counterpart as far as like the super spy goes. I think that No Time to Die was a nice send off for the Daniel Craig James Bond movies. So if we get to see a nice send off as well for Tom Cruise as Ethan Hunt, I think that would be really neat. But can't wait for 7 and 8.
Yeah.
It's insane that a franchise like in the back half has just gotten better like this, but it has.
Moonfall. It's coming out next month, right?
It exists.
It
That's all.
exists.
I won't be seeing Moonfall.
Yeah, skip over that one. Top Gun.
Although I will say, using Creedence Clearwater's Bad Moon on the Rise, every time I see that trailer in a theater, I die laughing. So whoever on the marketing team decided to do that, hats off to you because it is hilarious.
Oh man, Top Gun Maverick.
Oh, it's the year of Cruise.
It
It
is.
really is. But this movie felt like it should have come out 3 years ago, even though it was only announced like a year and a half, 2 years ago. I'm excited because this first Top Gun is a super fun movie. And like I don't think Tom Cruise would sign on if it wasn't like faithful and following in the footsteps of the first movie. But honestly, like with the Miles Teller stuff, it's just like, oh God, how many times did they get into screaming matches over COVID on this set?
Yeah.
I'm excited for this one. I think it's going to be really good.
Yeah.
Joseph Kosinski directed Oblivion and Only the Brave, which I think are two very underrated films, especially Only the Brave. It's a true story of firefighters who lost their lives in California wildfires. But Kosinski he can direct spectacle so well, I think. And that's proven in Oblivion. That's proven in Only the Brave. And I think he's going to do it again here in Top Gun Maverick. And we had a trailer for this like 2 years ago that I was already hyped for. So can't wait to finally see it.
Which I believe this is like a July release, right? And that's a perfect summertime movie.
Yeah.
Play it on the beach. Get projectors out there.
And just
Tom Cruise to actually fly over.
Yeah.
Listen, man, Danger Zone is still one of the best like written for movie songs ever. Like I love the 80s for that aspect of their movies alone. Danger Zone's a banger, always will be.
Yeah, it feels like we're kind of getting to the end here with the 2022 releases wrapping up. I am so indifferent on this. I think that this will be like one that might be divisive, but I don't have strong opinions on the first Aquaman.
Yeah.
I think that James Wan, I have a lot of respect for him and I think he's super talented, but I think that my opinions on his movies are up and down. Momoa is really good in the role. I like that Yaya is Black Manta, but I don't even know if I would see this in theaters if it wasn't for Regal Unlimited. So that's where I am on Aquaman. I'm just like, I really don't care personally.
Yeah.
Aquaman's a character that I really like, especially as I started reading more comics. And like, I mean, Flynn, you own it now. So like when you read Flashpoint.
I've read Flashpoint. Yeah.
Aquaman stuff in Flashpoint is so fucking cool. I love it so much. So I have high hopes for this in a sense of it's just Jason Momoa as the character, it'll at least be entertaining to watch.
Yeah.
Amber Heard being there, not thrilled. That's not good. But like Yaya being there, thrilled. That's wonderful. So I don't know. I mean, again, I also have Regal Unlimited, so I will see it. But like, I'm not like, maybe a trailer could convince us more. Like if it looks fun.
Yeah.
But like DC at this point, like, or I should say the DCEU at this point,
Yeah.
kind of a hard sell for me just because of how messy it is and like how non-committed they are to it. Like they're not really building to anything. So we'll see how it is. I mean, I want it to be good. I want every superhero movie or every movie I see to be good, but it's just like, first one was all right. So we'll see.
I think that I think from a quality standpoint, this is probably going to be just about equal with the first Aquaman, which is not giving it a lot of high praise.
Right.
But if I was going to kind of speculate or give an opinion on this, I think it could be really successful if they actually took a darker route with the sequel and really played to James Wan's strengths in that department. But he's on record saying that he would only do this movie if there was a better script presented to him than the first one.
Sure.
So
that's true. Yeah.
Hopefully he got what he wanted here. You know, we'll see. We'll see
those are really good points.
So that's Aquaman.
Black Adam. I would say the same thing.
I'm also indifferent. Yeah.
I mean, it's The Rock, so like, yes.
Yeah. I'm glad that he's excited about the role. I don't care.
to be honest, I think the biggest like issue I'm gonna have with that movie is The Rock thinks he's playing a superhero.
Like, I don't know. I don't know how they're gonna present Black Adam because he's usually anti-hero. He does super like fry that dude in the teaser that we got. So at least that looks fine, like tone wise. But this feels like another movie that like this has been in the works since like when the DCEU was still like quote unquote on track. Like I feel like this got announced at like 2016 San Diego Comic-Con, didn't it? Or like before.
It was pretty early on. Yeah.
Dwayne's been attached to the role for that long. So I mean, like he must have serious faith in it to like stick around this long because like you see what happens with stuff like Channing Tatum as Gambit. Like if you take this long, usually sides part ways, especially a movie star as big as The Rock. So who knows?
My thing with Black Adam, and I think you guys would agree, is that they presented this as sort of like a tectonic shift in the DCEU and be this like major thing. But I feel like the Batman is going to be that. You know, I feel like it's just not. That's working to its detriment already. Is that they're presenting it as such a high caliber film?
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I hope that it's good because The Rock is a really fun actor.
Yeah,
and a really fun person. But like, it's just I'm nervous with how they're going to do it. I mean, like, we've gotten anti-hero characters now with Deadpool's movies, and like we got to explore the more like gray area of Wolverine with Logan and his later Wolverine appearances. So like they've done it right with like not straight up like hero characters. But I don't know, because like the tone of the first Shazam is really fun. It would not work for Black Adam, and they're supposed to be adversaries. So like, how are we like tying that in? There's like a lot of questions I have about it. And I think I would see it just because I'm so curious with how they're going to present everything. But like at the end of the day, it's a superhero movie. It'll probably be fun. So like,
what did Dwayne say? The hierarchy of power in the DC universe is about to change when I mean, what the fuck even is the DC universe at this
currently
point?
Have power in the DC.
Yeah, exactly. What is that hierarchy of power? So I don't know. I see Michael Myers next to him. Look, evil dies tonight. I think a lot of people liked Halloween Kills. I feel like it did okay, like monetarily. I don't know. I'm not really excited for this. The 2018 like Halloween like legacy sequel I think is solid. I think it's decent. But I thought Halloween Kills was bad personally. So any like excitement I would have had for this kind of went away after I saw that. It's not one of my like favorite horror franchises. I adore the original and Halloween 3 too. Underrated. So, but other than that, Paul Rudd's in one of them. I always forget him. It's
Sonic.
like it's 4 or 5, but he's in there. So
Flynn's got some homework to do before this one.
yeah.
You haven't seen
Sonic.
Sonic?
No, I never saw Sonic.
Oh wow. Okay.
Gianni and I are both big fans of the first Sonic
I
movie.
think it's great. Yeah.
Yeah,
'Cause
I
it's
like I
fun.
like the character quite a lot.
Yeah.
It's just
I
it's just a
love
really
Sonic.
fun movie,
Yeah.
and like it gave me faith in video game movies because like
Mhm.
they translated the feel of a Sonic game and like the goal of the levels of a Sonic game. Like the chase sequences felt like it could have been like one of those classic side scrollers. Like it
Yeah.
was really fun. And I mean, this one adding in Tails and Knuckles and the true Eggman look, as much as the joke in the trailer is cringy, where he's like, "Daddy's got a new stash" or something. Like it's cringy, but it's funny.
Yeah, it
Um,
works. It works.
it works.
I'm so excited for the post-credit scene with Shadow because I know it's gonna happen.
I hope it's just like his fist and he just goes, "Damn," like whenever he
Yeah,
dies in
yeah.
the Shadow video game. But like the fact that they're introducing like the Chaos Emeralds means
Yeah.
they're really going for like that Sonic lore, which is just a weird sentence that I've said out loud. But like the fact that they're really leaning into the stories of the games and like doing a good job with kind of introducing elements each movie.
Yeah.
I have a lot of hopes for this just because the first one was so much fun and Ben Schwartz was so good as Sonic.
Yeah.
So, and I
And
mean,
I-
Idris Elba is Knuckles. Are you kidding me?
I just love the behind the
Interesting
scenes
choice.
story of these Sonic films and how they really took the feedback from the fans and redesigned the character for the first movie.
Yeah.
And I'll
It
say for the
saved it.
first Sonic film, even more so than Detective Pikachu, I felt like it was a video game adaptation that was made for the fans by fans. So
Mhm.
I'm pumped. And Ben Schwartz is great. He does a great job in the role. So
Yeah.
I'm excited. Yeah. Let's see. Is there anything else we want to hit on real quick? I mean, we still
I
have
mean,
Yeah.
we were chatting on the Lost City. That looks like
True.
Yeah.
Pretty-
Again, that's Lost City. I'll just say, like, same thing with Uncharted. Like, adventure movies are fun, and this is like a really weird premise for
Yeah.
one, but like interesting and kind of different. So
and anytime
Could be
Daniel
fun.
Radcliffe plays like a freak billionaire who's trying to do something weird, I'm in.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
down.
I was very excited to see Daniel Radcliffe when I first saw this trailer the other day. So that should be fun. I don't know. We'll see. I probably won't see it, honestly. I'm just being honest. I probably won't end up seeing it. Texas Chainsaw, the new Texas Chainsaw, it's coming right to Netflix. It doesn't look that great. Texas Chainsaw is another like franchise where like there's one. This happens quite often with horror, honestly, where there's one phenomenal original and then sequels can be lackluster. I think that they're going like the legacy sequel route with this one, but it's straight to Netflix, so we'll see. Bullet Train, great cast. Excited for that. Trying to
Mario.
look at
No thanks.
Mario.
No thanks.
Yeah.
This is gonna be something.
Yeah. Mario. A plumber named Mario travels through an underground labyrinth with his brother Luigi. Fun. Not fun. I'm sorry, it's not fun.
Holiday 2022.
Justice for Charles Martinet. Like
It's
I don't
going to
understand
ruin
why he's
Christmas.
not voicing Mario. And I
This
think that
movie will ruin Christmas.
it's rough because I think that the animated route is the way to go with a Mario adaptation.
Yeah.
There's like a cult following for the live action one now, and for like good reason. That movie is like insane. But it is actually a lot of fun. I kind of like it. It's not a good movie, but I like it. But this one, like I don't get it. Like I don't understand, and I feel like everybody's gonna see it and still not understand why they went this route. Like I was happy that they were doing animation. I feel like that suited the character more, and then they're getting Charles Martinet and like not letting him be Mario. Like continuing the trend of having like big name actors do voice work instead of like letting voice actors do it.
Yeah.
I don't really get it. So, meh.
Yeah.
I agree. And the most frustrating part about this one is it's going to make enough money to spawn 2 sequels. So
Yeah. I hope, because there's been commentary like Chris Pratt like picked out his own Mario voice and it's like different. I hope it's just straight up Chris Pratt's voice. I think that would be hysterical if Mario like isn't Italian at all. It's just Chris Pratt like, oh yeah, what's up? Like, we have to save Peach. Like, that would
And we
be
do.
hysterical to me.
A couple
Yeah.
that are standing out to me. I mean, as a gigantic Foo Fighters fan, Studio 666 looks ridiculously
Oh
fun.
yeah, that trailer looks fun.
Yeah, I think that movie is just the right amount of silly for the Foo Fighters to just be like, hey, we're bored, let's make this. So it's very up their alley. And when you finish Saving the World, that's written by Jesse Eisenberg. I'm
Oh,
kind of
how about
interested to
that?
see that. Yeah,
Yeah.
just I have no idea what it's going to be like, but just
Hmm.
the fact that he's writing it is enough to be like, hey, this could be fun. But I mean, 2022 is shaping up to be a pretty fun year. I think as we were doing our 2021 retrospective, I was like, oh, this was a great year for movies. Like,
Yeah.
it felt like an up and down year because of the pandemic and like things being like open and closed, open and closed. But like it was a really good year. And I think 2022 has a chance of it because before we started recording, Flynn brought up a really good point where like we don't know what art house movies are going to come out. Like some things
Yeah.
might get pushed, delayed, some might come out sooner just because they want to
Yeah.
get out. Like, so I think we're at a pretty good list. There is obviously, you know, the Morbiuses where it's like, oh God, please come out already so we don't have to watch the trailer. Or Ambulance. Oh my God, Ambulance. I hate that. We got Brother Cop on board. But
Yeah. I will say my closing thoughts are like these are like pretty much all the movies we went through are like the big releases. So it's very exciting because there are so many of these movies that I'm very excited about. And like Luke touched on that we were talking about, a lot of these won't even end up being my favorite movies of the year because you'll get festival premieres, you'll get stuff that's, you know, coming out in the November, December area of the year that is the award season contenders and everything. And I always end up loving them. And like, we really haven't talked about any of them because they don't get on the radar until after they premiere at like Cannes and Telluride and TIFF and stuff. So it should be a really great year for movies. I think that we're really like coming up on, and you know, you keep your fingers crossed because you want everybody to be safe as the pandemic continues seemingly endlessly. But it feels like if movie release dates stay the way they are, that we're finally starting to like catch up to all the things that got like super delayed. And like that means it's going to be a year that's like front loaded with insane, really great movies because all of this stuff was supposed to be more spread out than it is.
Yeah.
So like box office battles and you know for all the commentary about like MCU movies are the only thing that make money. Hopefully this kind of like parody will make sure that lots of different kinds of movies make money this year and lots of people are seeing different kinds of movies in the theaters. So really excited. Like going through this list made me even more excited and like pointing out like all the different movies that are coming out this year. So
I echo all of that. With that, I guess we'll wrap it up, and we will be talking about a lot of these releases throughout the year, I'm sure.
yeah,
So
individualized.
yeah. So shout
Alright.
out to Letterboxd for being the best movie app ever.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
Add TV shows, damn it.
All right, we will catch you in the next one.